Good morning and welcome to the Italian town of Paestum. Just waking up, as you can see, from the luxury of Hotel Fiesta. I've got coffee on go. Tourist bus is rocking into town because this is a famous town with some temples. And yeah, I decided to save some cash on my way back down to Italy, and I've slept here. It's literally just a bit of a wander down here. I had a wander down last night. Actually, it was pretty mad. They were like pumping music out of the bars down there last night, which was a bit weird. You never get that like anywhere else in Europe, where it's like, you know, old ruins, UNESCO World Heritage Site, and then the bars were pumping. It was pretty busy down there last night. I had a quick wander past. I didn't really stay around, to be honest. I was a bit knackered. Just watched a film here in hotel. But yeah, just waiting for this coffee. It's 8 o'clock. It opens at 9 o'clock down here, and we're going to go and have an explore of these ruins. So let's check it out. Right, here we are then in the ancient Greek city of Paestum. We're going to go and check it out. And this is the train station here, which if you're coming from Napoli, then you can rock straight into Paestum here, or you can park there for free, where I've just parked and slept overnight in my car. So it's an easy option because it's literally here, straight out of the station. If you're a station, or if you park where I have down there, and you're literally straight out and straight down into this ancient village. We're going straight down here, and it's literally a 5-minute walk down here, so it's as easy as that. And like I say, where I've parked and I've slept in my car, just here right next to the station, it's free. But there is some other car parks down in this village if you're really lazy, or if you're just really wealthy. And the combination of extremely wealthy and extremely lazy, you can park right next to it down in Paestum. And actually it's not that bad. It's €5 all day, I think, as well, so it's not really that expensive, but still €5, isn't it, when you can just do a 5-minute walk for free and go straight down there. So let's go check it out. Okay, so I've just come in the museum to get my ticket. It's quite nice. It's an actual ticket with a printed picture. I collect these, but it's very difficult to do these days traveling. Everyone just gives you a QR code, or even if you get a ticket, it's just like a barcode, some genetic rubbish. But it's €15, but it also includes the museum, so we can check that out after. But it's just gone 9 o'clock, it's morning, so we want to crack straight into the actual site before all the tourists come. But that might be already too late because there's an absolute massive group of school kids just coming past now. Here it is. Half of Italy's about to ruin my day. But yeah, so the ticket's €15, but if you come December, January, February, it's €5 cheaper. So if you come here in the winter months, and probably an area like Paestum like this, for anyone coming from Northern Europe, it's probably not really a winter, is it? Like 15 degrees or something. That's like summer in England, is that? So it's €5 cheaper. Something to consider if you've got kids and stuff. It all adds up, doesn't it? But if you're here March to November, it's €15. So let's go in. Here we are. So this is one of the 2 gates to go in. Okay, so you can only enter at Porta Principale, which is not this side, it's the opposite side, so it's a little bit annoying. I've just been in the museum. I just went to the guy thinking he could buy direct. He didn't say anything. He just said, oh, I'll buy your ticket in the museum, which I did. And then I walked back and he's like, oh, you can only access the entrance the other way. Not that it's particularly that far to walk, but you know, still, you know, sometimes a bit of info would be all right, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? So now I'm stuck behind all these school kids. So actually, if we get some fast motion on, we can get past them. We can maybe get a minute or so with some pictures before they block up pictures, you know what it's like when big tour groups come in and you're somewhere in the world and it's just like you're all bustling for the sharks. End it there, you've got to get to these places early now. It's otherwise it's just everyone's in your shot, and it's like you get to a place like this, you may never come back. It's my first time here, you know, who knows when you're going to come back, you don't know. So if you're going to get there, you want to get some good footage, don't you? But it's pretty good as well. Like, if you really want it to be cheap, you don't technically have to pay to go in. You're only just getting a bit closer. As you can see here, this road goes all the way along. So you've got the one temple there, and the other two are down here. And you can see it all from here. I was here last night after it closed, walking along. So, you know, if you really want to save money, you can still see them. You can still get the amazing beauty of them, and you don't technically have to pay. You know, if you're, again, big families, you can just come and walk on the outside, have a coffee or whatever, and still enjoy it, because you can still get pretty close. So something to consider if you're a bit worried about spending too much money. Right then, here we are, we're coming in. We've jumped in front of the kids, we've sped up, got the old turbo boots on. So here we are, there's just a couple of people. There's not many people before me, so I'm here early. Nothing better than getting natural, not natural is it? Ancient wonder, ancient Greek temples. Look at it. Absolute mind blowing that stuff like this is still standing, I think. I think it's mad. Like, proper architecturally well built. I don't know if I'm actually just wandering on grass and you're supposed to be on paths, who knows. But so like I say, the fence is just here behind and you can kind of see it from there, but you're not up close to it, are you? I think if you're gonna make your way down here, you might as well pay to come in and see it and get right up to it, you know. So this one here, the first one, if we're going left to right, this is Tempo de Herrera, and it's probably the, what's the word, the most damaged one out of them all. There's not much left as this one, but you know, just look at them columns, you know. I just think when you see like Greek temples like this, it's just grand, you know. Like if some billionaire went along today and he wanted to make something grand, you just make it this style. It's absolute, you know, these columns, it just shouts grandness or something, you know what I mean? I don't know what word I'm looking for, but you know, look at it. Build something like this, roof on, discotheque, bit of a club. Yeah, look at it. Very impressive. So Paestum and this area dates from 550 to 450 BCE, which means before Christian era. So basically very long time ago. And yeah, they're in such good condition. If you think like how many hundreds of years ago that is, you know, thousands of years ago, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? You know, you think of the sturdiness of these absolute unbelievable bits of rock when you think about it. It's like I keep saying, proper grand. So 450 BCE, before Christian era, before Christ, that's 2,450 years ago. I've just asked our good old friend Google, because I don't really understand all these dates sometimes. But yeah, when it puts it into simple maths like that, where you can actually work it out, instead of all this before Christ, after Christ. I've got no idea. But when you read 2,450 years old since the first temples on this site, and they're still here, that is unbelievable. You think some of the buildings that we make today, are they going to last 20 years, 200 years, 2,450 years old? Like, what is that all about? That is mental. So you're looking at these bits of stone now and you're thinking, oh my days, these Greeks, absolute master craftsmen, absolute master builders. All right, this one's, you know, lost a little bit of its life and its purpose, but this other one here still standing. And even if they weren't built in 450 or 550 or a little bit later, they're still over 2,000 years old. I mean, look at it. I mean, look at it. It is mint, proper mint. Whatever you're into in life, you still got to just admire the quality of that. I guess the beauty of AI now, I've not really used it that much to be honest, but you come here and it's like, so this one, Il Tempio di Herrera, the Temple of Hera, you know, you're looking at it and you're thinking, wow, aren't you? But, you know, then you read this stuff and it's like, it took 40 years to build from 560 BC, before Christ, to 520 BC. And it's like, okay, but what does that mean in reality? You know, because unless you're really religious and you know all that, which I don't, you've got no idea. So just type in Google, you know, 520 BC, when was that? And it's like, works it out for you with the AI, and it's, I think it was 2,544 years ago that this was finished. So it took 40 years to build the original temple of Hera, Temple of Hera. But it's 2,500 years old, still standing. Absolute madness, if you ask me. Madness, like, proper. So this is the Temple of Neptune, 460 BC. So that's 2,484 years ago. So much newer than the other one, jokes. But this is the famous one. This is the one that you see on the internet, the pictures of. It's the grandest one, but it's only slightly younger than the other one, but it's a lot more well preserved. And yeah, you can see it in the inner bit as well. It's still got many of its inner columns. Absolute grand again. 2,484 years, did I say? I mean, pretty mind-blowing. And this is, yeah, this is the main one. This is the one that I've seen on the internet before. This is the image of Paestum that you'll probably get, whether it's a day shot or a night shot, because it is just absolutely mad that it's still standing. Well, another cool thing here is if you've got a dog, you can bring a dog into the park. Wouldn't have thought that. A place like this, 2,500 years of ancient Greek history. But I guess as long as you clean up your merda, as you say in Italian, clean up your shit, then yeah, you're allowed to bring dogs in. So even dogs are absolutely buzzing with this place. I mean, yeah. Come on, what's not to love? Pure history. Even if you're not an historical person, like I say, you've got to buzz off something that's 2,500 years old, still standing like an absolute beast of a structure. It's literally gone 10 o'clock, so I was in here maybe 10 past because I had to go to the ticket office and stuff like that. But it goes without saying, with a lot of attractions, from 10 till 2 anywhere in the world. Europe, definitely. It's when it's the busiest. Let's just look at all these kids here. Look at all these kids here. There's a group here. One group came in early. They were the ones that I took over. But all of a sudden, it's just going to be a load of screaming kids coming in here. Absolute hundreds of them. So I'm glad I've had about an hour without them in, because you can just hear them ricketing now, but you can only come in this way and then you go down and exit the other way. So luckily, just been in this one section here since I got in, like 50 odd minutes. But yeah, if you come in here, then you need to be here when it opens, really, unless you want to share your time with a load of screaming kids that probably aren't that bothered. But at school, I remember a lot of stuff as a kid. I went from school trips and that. You're not really bothered. You just want to not be at school. You don't want to be doing science. You know what I mean? You don't want to be doing maths. These kind of boring subjects where, to be fair, you get all the creamy money later on with big jobs. But weren't for me. You know what I mean? I wanted to be outside. But yeah, look at them all streaming in now. Yeah, right. Well, we've been in that section, so luckily we're going down here a bit more peace and quiet until they catch us up. So yeah, it goes without saying, to be honest, with all attractions, like I've just said, 10 till 2, it's when coach loads come. So Paestum, get here early, and you got the other section, you'll have it to yourself. Get here 11, 12, midday, then it's the same as going anywhere else, Rome, Florence, Italy, summer, forget about it. So we're coming in now to the old theatre, and it's a shame that it's not much left of it, to be fair. You can kind of see the entrance where I've come in. I think it'd be absolutely epic to go back in time and be in a place like this 2,500 years ago and see what it were like. This is obviously a lot more ruined than the temples over there, Temple of Neptune, for example. But it's still impressive. But you just think, what if, and it's the same for a lot of places in the world, what if, the next civilization didn't ruin stuff as much as they do, or it doesn't decay and we've preserved everything? Imagine what would be left in the world. It'd be unbelievable. We already have a lot of unbelievable things still here like this. It's been here 2,500 years, but imagine if we'd have looked after it better. It'd be an unbelievable complex, wouldn't it? But I guess we've got to be happy with what is left, I guess, because it's still pretty amazing. I'm now at Ecclesterion. I'm going to show it here because I can't pronounce it. Ecclesterium, which is assembly. But what I like about it here and what it says is, this is the setting for many arguments and debates. So it's good to know that for over 2,500 years, we still love today in 2025 a good old argument, don't we? Good old bit of banter, good old bit of, no, you're off your head, I'm right, you're wrong. A good old debate, nothing changes. Yes, 2,500 years ago, when the local politicians, noblemen, folk, normal people, whatever, be sat in here shouting at each other, saying I'm right, you're wrong. And here we are 2,500 years later, and we're still having a good old argument. Let's have it. As we walk through the park, we get to the end where there's this small artificial hill, which is the highest elevation here in Paestum, in the northern sanctuary, and we arrive at Tempio de Athena, the Temple of Athena. I think it's a Greek god that we've all heard before, and this is the temple to her. As you can see, if I swing back around, slightly elevated, not much, but we're slightly more elevated than the other two temples down there and the rest of the remains of what is left of this old city of Paestum. And as you can see, this one is a little bit more of a ruin, but it's still got its rectangular shape all the way around of the columns, and it's still BC today. What's this? Built in 500 BC, so another 2,500 years or so old, standing. All the columns in the rectangle are still standing. I mean, yeah, it's just mad, innit? Well, I'm in a museum, and the old bit, they must be renovating because there's not much to do apart from go in a room in there and set off the alarm, because that's what I've just done. Because yeah, there's no sign or anything, and I've never experienced something like it. But there's a thing on the floor, but there was no barrier tape or tape, but you know, like glass or any sign saying don't walk, and literally just set off the alarm, which is absolutely mad. It's just like a pressure alarm, so as soon as you step off it, it stops. So that's a bit weird, but actually all this space, there's nothing to really see apart from a few stone slabs. But yeah, this is like one main room in the museum, and then this is the extension bit in here, which is obviously just lots of stuff that outside that's come in to be temperature controlled and stuff like that. For me, stuff like this is not that interesting. For me, it's like you can do this in like 15 minutes, but everyone's different, aren't they? We all like different stuff. Like, to me, I don't know, whip round here in like 15 minutes. It's not really the type of stuff I'm into. Outside, mind-blowing, but this kind of stuff. And like I say, it's 2 floors. But yeah, that room there as well has got nothing in, and a lot of kids again. Kind of get an idea here. Another school group through there. But yeah, so the museum is part of the ticket, but each to their own, you know. Stuff like this has obviously come from outside, and then there's some replica stuff. But yeah, it's not really my type of thing. So Paestum, there you have it. Go check out those temples outside. Absolutely boom.